Johnny Bernson sits atop a star-studded fleet with 11 others looking to take his place here at the 53rd Congressional Cup. Hi, I'm Tucker Thompson, and welcome to day number 2. And we have a correction from the end of yesterday's show. This event is no longer a double round robin. It's actually a single round robin, followed by a repechage round, and then we move into the quarterfinals, the semis, and ultimately the finals. And with the weather we're expecting later on, that schedule may be shortened further still. And now we join the action on the water off the Belmont pier. We begin at the start between Nikolai Sehested and Phil Robertson. They are on final approach, 10 seconds to go to the gun. Remember, Robertson leading this regatta, but it is early on. He's also leading Sehested down to the pin. There's the gun, bows her up, a relatively even start. Sehested first attack over onto port, heading right, and Robertson will tack on his hip to stay with him. Top mark, it's Robertson ahead. It is the world champion's race to lose. Light air, though, and with the trailing boat, Sehested behind by about 3 lengths or so. The question now is, will he be close enough to catch him up on the run? Bottom of the track, heading to the right-hand side. The current world champion continues his lead over Sehested. We head back down to the starting line, this time with David Storrs, who's entering on starboard. He's facing Sam Gilmore on port from Australia. Gilmore entered with the spinnaker up, but was not able to get across, and he jives. Coffin corner for Gilmore. Unable to get across on port is a dangerous place to be. And Storrs pushes him up, head to win. Gilmore rolling straight into attack. Has he got it? Oh, no. Not before Storrs throws a penalty, and it's a blue flag. Storrs, the oldest competitor, clearly wisdom counts, at least in this pre-start, is holding Gilmore out now above ley line for the committee boat. Gilmore finally able to turn the tide and get back into the line, but Storrs will start ahead at the gun. And in match number 1, a valiant effort from Sehested behind, but it's not the win. That'll go to Phil Robertson and crew. Gilmore crosses from the left-hand side, tacks right on top of Storrs, who goes back for clear air. Gilmore still has that penalty to shed. Top mark, and Storrs trails Gilmore by about 6 lengths. Gilmore has already jibed in a left-hand shift. We'll leave that match to head downwind and reach this match at the top mark. It is Ian Williams over Johnny Bernson. But Williams has a penalty to do, and this will be the final run. That's where the action will heat up. This is where the game slows down. One of the few times in any sailboat racing where you want to stop if you're in the lead and allow the trailing boat, Bernson, to catch up. Very risky, though. Williams knows he has to shed that penalty, and the finish line is ahead. Bernson, however, has seen this movie before. He'll match Williams' every move. Both boats fishtailing back and forth, slowing down. Williams trying to get to leeward of Bernson, but that didn't happen. Now Bernson's going in for the luff. He's leeward boat. Is he inside, though? That's the question. Was he inside at the zone? Lots of screaming going on. Bernson thinks yes. Williams clearly says no. Bernson will put his bow down to cross the finish line, and Williams gets 2 penalties. Game over. Same story, different match. Remember Sam Gilmore had a penalty to David Storrs? Well, there's Gilmore in the background. He's dropping his spinnaker. He's going for a luff to go around the pin. Who's going to win it? Can Gilmore shed his penalty and stay inside? He hasn't shed it yet. Storrs coming in from behind. Gilmore putting his bow down. Who's got it? Storrs pulls forward, and he's done it. The match goes to Storrs. Back in our next flight, and we begin with Phil Robertson. He's going to enter from the starboard side, racing Jochen Aschenbrenner on port, and Aschenbrenner's across into the pier. Just off of the pier, Aschenbrenner leads into it and luffs up. Robertson now sits up just to windward on starboard ley line. Final approach to the line, Robertson trailing. He'll tack Aschenbrenner off onto port, split tack, 5 seconds to go. Now will Aschenbrenner make it over the bow of the committee boat? No, so he will tack back and Robertson goes right at him. Aschenbrenner will be on starboard. Will he have the first cross? Looks solid at this point, so possibly a mistake from Robertson gives the start to Aschenbrenner. Aschenbrenner shifted all the way to the left. He's tacked on port in a lefty. Robertson, however, all the way out to the right-hand corner. We'll see how this plays out in a few moments. Aschenbrenner just now getting a light spot and a header. Moment of truth for Aschenbrenner on port. Strong right-hand shift for Robertson. Gives him the early advantage. He'll tack. To leeward of Robertson, Aschenbrenner now looking to get back in the game. Top mark, beautiful set for Robertson. Now it's Aschenbrenner's turn to catch up.
I'm Joachim Aschenbrenner from Denmark, and we are really excited to be back here at Congressional Cup for the second time. It's just a good time here, both on water and on shore. Most regattas is just about sailing and then back to your hotel room, but this one, as soon as you get in from the sailing, there's a lot of social stuff going on, and that's great to be a part of. I think the main goal is to do well enough to be invited back here next year. We have a bit of experience now. I think I have 10 years in match racing, so these guys have so as well. But yeah, just take on the experience and combine with our young age and good physical guys on board. So we'll do our best. So I hope that's enough.
We'll leave those two to fight it out downwind and head into the most highly anticipated match of this flight, because we've got Johnny Berntsen. He's leading the regatta so far, just ahead of Taylor Canfield, world ranked #1. As you can see, we're into pre-start. Off the pier and final approach for the line. Less than a minute, Berntsen to leeward. Canfield looks like the right side's favored. What will he do? Already he's too far to windward to get down below Berntsen's line. Canfield then led into the line and tacked, but not before forcing himself to be over early. Well, he's got the right side if that's what he wanted, but now he has to dip back down below the line and tack at the signal boat. Canfield having tacked, and Berntsen immediately tacks as well. He'll duck. Canfield was slow off that line, and Berntsen takes the right. First blood goes to Berntsen. He'll tack ahead and to leeward of Canfield, protecting that right-hand side as two other boats roll through the frame. Now Canfield stays, makes it stick. Will he roll over the top of him? This could be a big move. Canfield inside the zone. Port starboard, Berntsen. Definitely going to be a flag here. Berntsen's calling port starboard. Canfield calling in the zone that he has to tack. New tour rules say the inside boat has to go for the mark. However, here comes the penalty. Canfield gets a penalty. And it's a red flag penalty. Canfield knows he gained an advantage by doing that. He rolls right in to an immediate turn. So penalty shed. Berntsen's ahead. Meanwhile, in our first match of this flight, Phil Robertson easily wraps up Joachim Aschenbrenner. Back at the top mark for the last time. Berntsen into the set, 2 lengths over Canfield. The advantage will shift to the trailing boat. Now, can Canfield catch up? And into the finish, Johnny Berntsen takes the race. Back in the starting line, and Canfield might have a shot at redemption in this match. He'll be facing Switzerland's Eric Monen. After the dial-up, Monen slipped in behind Canfield, who hoisted a spinnaker. Monen responds, but not before Canfield pulls forward. Setting up for the final approach. Canfield to leeward, using the pier as a pick. Monin set up to windward. Can Canfield hold him out, or can Monin go in for the hook? Close maneuvering. Canfield luffs Monin. Monin responds. We're just behind the committee boat, and now Monin's in jeopardy of being shut out, and possibly a penalty right here. More sparks are flying, and a penalty flag to Monin. At the gun, Monin slips forward, crosses the line ahead of Canfield. Well, that's the good news. The bad news is there's a red flag attached to that blue flag penalty, and Monin rolls immediately into a penalty turn. The breeze has now all but shut off. We're back in the pre-start. This time with Nikolai Seestedt. He's entered on port with the spinnaker, I was going to say up, but actually just draping there. He does have speed. Now he'll need it to get across Joachim Aschenbrenner, who is entering late from the committee boat end, also with the spinnaker up. Well, there's the gun. The speed hasn't really changed, as you can see. The only thing that has is the spinnakers are down. Aschenbrenner is bow forward on Seestedt. But a huge left-hand shift has him not even making the line. So it'll be attack onto port, and that's where Seestedt will look to get him on starboard. Now, can he get across on port? Or will we see a penalty? Good news for him, Aschenbrenner has a puff from the left. Bad news, Seestedt is putting his bow up a little bit, now holding on starboard. Aschenbrenner in trouble, he'll respond. And umpires in position, there is a flag. Green. Back at the leeward mark, Canfield has taken the left-hand gate, and he's comfortably ahead in his match over Monin. That's Stores sailing downwind in a different race. On board with Aschenbrenner, clearly a jibe set. It's a big left-hand shift. Seestedt has gotten ahead by about 2 lengths, and he'll roll immediately into a jibe as well.
I'm Nikolai Seestedt. I'm from Denmark. We're back at the Congressional Cup again for a second time, and it's good to be back in the monohull and where it all started for us a few years ago. You know, we feel really welcome, and the club loves this event, and they, you know, take it to the next level with accommodation and food and just making us feel home. Second of all, I think people enjoy to come back in the monohulls and do match racing, you know, where it's close and yelling and lots of umpires instead of just blasting along with 20 knots and then going around marks. So I think people like to come back, and especially we do the same. I think we didn't quite have the start we were hoping for, but you know, we had the same last year. We sat at the wrong end of the table at the press conference last year, the first day, and during the week we moved up, and so I think we'll try to do the same. I mean, we should be able to do. I don't see why not, but we just got to figure out why we haven't found the form yet, and then try to fix that today.
All the way down at ley line for the leeward gates. Seestedt still leading, and Aschenbrenner just looking for any opportunity to get back in this game. And then into the finish with our first match. Monin was no match for Taylor Canfield. And finally, Nikolai Seestedt makes it look easy, wrapping up his match over Joachim Aschenbrenner. Con Cup continues here in Long Beach, California, as the first round of qualifying, the round-robin series, comes to a close. And then the top 6 will move on into the quarterfinals. The last 2 spots will be determined by a repechage round. And then we move into the business end of this regatta. As the qualifying goes on, teams get sent home. Only 2 will move on into Sunday afternoon's finals. Who will they be? We'll find out. I'm Tucker Thompson. More action continues from Long Beach, California, from the Congressional Cup.